And yeah, it's a pleasure to hold this live demo here for you guys. It's actually our first conference. We have been following you for years, and now finally we are also part of it. So it's definitely a pleasure to be part of it. In this short demo, I would love to show you how our MacBear metal platform works, and what's our intention with it, and how we do things, actually. I hope you like it. So, generally speaking, it's a cloud service. So on our website, you have a chance to start a free trial. You have to go to a simple verification process, and then as soon as you join the platform, you will jump into the control panel and this nice dashboard where you will have an entry start bonus that gives you some free credits to start using our services, to test it out, and so on. Basically, we strive to make it as simple as possible to manage, to deploy and scale Mac devices in the cloud. So the vision is basically that a physical device, a physical Mac Mini, should feel like a virtual machine in terms of how you can manage it, how you can handle it, and so on. So, for example, let's see one of the existing machines that I have here in my list. You can see that we see, for example, the macOS version. We see the interfaces that are connected to it, the host name, the specification, the costs, the status of the machine, and so on. So with one click, you can open a console and access your physical Mac, just to show you that we are really talking about the physical device and not the virtual machine. So this is basically just a short overview about how it looks like. But let's do a simple deployment. We are focusing to offer all actions and all steps using like a user guide provisioning. So with a few clicks, you can start a deployment process. You have a choice between currently 4 different Mac Mini devices. We are adding from time to time some other configurations, but for now we have these 3 Intel-based machines. This one is out of stock currently because of the demand, and this one, of course, it's pretty new, so let's use this one, which is M1-based Mac Mini. In the next step, you see a very simple network topology graphic, which shows you how the machine will be set up at the end, how it's the network topology. And with one click, you can deselect the public IP, and the machine will by default only run within an internal network, like a VPC network, and don't be exposed directly to the internet. You can, of course, add a public IP anytime later, but we are just trying to make it most as simple as possible, so people can decide if they want to have a secure environment or less one. For this demo, I will use it like a public internet IP, so I can show you some other things. You can enter your password here. Quite soon, we will also add support for custom SSH keys that you can add during the deployment. And as soon as you click on finish, it's going to create a new machine. So this is currently in process. Okay, so let's go and check out this machine. So it's already active and ready to go. Still running the latest version of macOS, has this public IP assigned to it, and so on. So if we open the console, we can access the machine. As we noted here, this is actually an Emergy console only, but as you can see, it works quite well. Also, if you want to use it daily on daily business, but of course, it's not the best experience ever. So for this case, we refer to our documentation where we describe how to remote desktop to the machine from different platforms like Windows or Linux. For example, we recommend AnyDesk, which is a free tool with one free license. And of course, if you have macOS screen sharing, if you're connecting from a Mac, you can always use screen sharing or of course SSH. So by default, you will see this machine is assigned to a default security group. And this security group has, for example, those TCP ports already configured, which are open for ingress traffic. As you can see, VNC protocol is already here and port 2020. So let's do a quick connection check. So I will copy the public IP here. Oops, that's the wrong one. It doesn't work. So we can use screen sharing. Default user is always Flow. You can also check it out here if you forget it. And then the password you set during the deployment. And here we go. So as you can see, quite simple to deploy, activate, and connect to a remote-based Mac. The same, I will just take it down. Let's use SSH, Flow. Yes. Password. And as you can see, oops, sorry. And let's create a test folder. And if you switch back to the machine, you will see it here. So we are talking about the same machine. Then in terms of connectivity, I can do a quick speed test for you guys. And show you maybe how it performs generally. So it's a very good gigabit connection to the public internet. All right, what's also important to mention. So by default, we also have command line tools pre-installed. So it's, I think, Xcode version select. Okay, that's probably different here with Big Sur. So actually, I don't know exactly the command how to check the command line version or if it's installed. But yeah, I can confirm that it's actually always by default pre-installed. So making it quite easy for developers to start straight away using the devices for their development purposes and any other command line purposes. So let me check I will close now the screen sharing. Going back to the console. So as you can see now, that's a running machine. If, for example, the machine is frozen or freezes for some reason, like macOS is crashing, whatever. In these situations, you have the option to push the power button or even to directly unplug the power cord. So for this demo, I'm using the power button off function. We have here a nice animation that represents that. So as you know from the real world, if you are turning off or forcing a power button to turn off the Mac, you have to press and hold it for a few seconds. So that's why it took a few seconds. And as you can see, it's disconnected here. So the same way now we have, let me see, we have to refresh it, power button on. And so same now, you will see here the machine booting. M1 booting is actually super fast, as you can see. And here we are back again. Something else I would like to show you is with the current machine where I already have file vault enabled, the disk encryption. I can show you that. System preferences, security, file vault. As you can see, file vault is turned on for the disk and recovery key has been set. So normally, if you have a remote Mac and you're rebooting a machine the traditional way without any hacks from command line, then you will be asked to enter the file vault password at the boot level. So that's normal, it disconnects for a second. But thanks to this console, we have the option to enter it as soon the login prompt arrives. And then we are back in business. So all this is actually only possible because each of our Mac Minis running a data center has a so-called metal control unit connected to it. The metal control is actually a custom piece of hardware and software which has been developed in-house. And so we have the option to remote control it, remote manage it, and all the things I just showed you. And it's something similar to lights out management with traditional servers in the traditional server industry. Okay. The next thing I would like to show you is something that is currently, in private beta. And it's something that we just enable for customers that really need it and that provide us some valuable feedback. I'm going to show you how we can leverage APFS snapshots to create like machine states that can be recovered using the control panel, or even better via API. So I will show you here. I just prepared some commands here, so it's easier for us to demonstrate. So this command actually lists the current local snapshots, APFS snapshots. And as you can see, there are none. So I'm going to use a workflow, create new snapshot. Oh, sorry. Why is this not going up now? However, make bare metal. And now if you run the same here, you will see that we have used like our control panel to create an APFS snapshot. You can do the same using an API call. So everything what I'm showing now, you can also leverage using an API. And then to demonstrate that, let's create here, I'm sorry. I'd like to rename it to something else. So if you agree with me, when we use the revert snapshot functionality and reboot this machine, this folder shouldn't exist anymore, right? So let's give it a try. So if it fails, then I'm sorry, that's still in beta, but before the demo, I tried it a few times and it works always. So restore last snapshot. Go back to the console. As you can see, now some kind of automation is taking place. So now it's actually metal control taking the control over the power button. So it's powering off the device. It's powering on again, entering the necessary keyboard shortcuts to enter into the recovery mode. So of course, this is still an Intel machine, so it takes a second more than with M1. Maybe meanwhile, I'm going to also show you the API documentation. So as presented before, everything that I was doing using the control panel, using the user interface, you can also do using a simple API. So all these actions are doable and possible using the API. As you can imagine, everything that we are using in the background is API first. So it's, of course, makes sense to also offer it to the end customers. So now this takes some time. I hope it works. Yeah, it's going. So actually, I'm not doing anything at the moment, and you will see that our, it's called workflow. It's actually like a macro that is going through the user interface, pressing the necessary buttons, selecting the necessary options, and then finally booting the machine. So, and as you can imagine, because of metal control and the possibility that we capture the picture and the video, we have actually basically the option to automate everything which is not doable via script or any other automation. But thanks God, macOS is getting better version by version in making the administrator life easier in terms of reducing the simplicity, reducing the complexity in terms of managing the Macs. And now you can see it should boot again. Yeah, it's going back. So this demo with the snapshot functionality, I'm doing with an Intel-based Mac Mini because for the M1-based Mac Minis, it's still work in progress. We have some other challenges there, but I'm quite optimistic that we will finish it quite soon. And as you can see here, the folder disappeared. So I know it was a very, very simple test, but just to show you what's possible, technically possible with our solution. And for some use cases, this is very helpful because then they have a consistent state after each reboot of the machine. So yeah, I hope you liked my simple and short demo. As you can see, we really strive to give our customers the feeling of a virtual machine, but behind that, it's always a dedicated physical Mac Mini without any restrictions. And in terms of networking, it behaves like Amazon VPC similar approach, where you can manage security groups with specific ports, where you can use elastic IP functionality, where you can detach and public IP, reattach it to another device, and so on and so on. So yeah, I hope you liked it. If you have any questions and any deep dive questions, I'm happy to answer it in Discord. And yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you.